The presidential election is just 6 weeks away. National polls have former Vice President Joe Biden ahead. Here to talk about this polling is Travis County GOP Chairman Matt Mackowiak and Ed Espinoza from Progress, Texas. Ed Espinoza, at this point in the election, can we believe the poll numbers? Is Joe Biden going to win?
Well, I'm not gonna say who's gonna win or not, but what I can say is that polling in 2020 has improved from 2016. Pollsters really learned a lesson 4 years ago with their predictions being so far off, and they made adjustments for it. But one thing that's important to know about Texas is that we have had 23 presidential polls in this state since July. Now, that is more than we have had in the past 3 presidential elections combined. And in those 23 polls, Joe Biden led in 11, Trump led in 11, and then they were tied in 1. That is the definition of a battleground state. It's really making the power of the Texas voters stronger than it's ever been. And in the most recent poll, Biden is up. So this is going to be very exciting for Texas voters. And look, we can't put all of our stake in polls, but this many polls definitely demonstrates a pattern that we should pay attention to.
Matt Mackowiak, in addition to the polls, there's mail-in ballots. Do you think the election is going to be decided by mail-in ballots?
I don't know if I'd say decided. I mean, I think Democrats are going to vote disproportionately by mail, and Republicans are going to vote disproportionately in person. The only county that I think made an effort to try to send unrequested mail ballots out was Harris County, and I believe that's been held up by legal challenges. So I think what you're going to see is people who can vote absentee are probably going to vote in higher percentages. But I do know that Republicans are making a very full effort as it relates to mail ballots as well. So we'll see. I don't think the polls in Texas really reflect where the electorate is here. They generally poll more Democrats in their sample than the electorate reflects. This is going to be a more competitive cycle here than it's been in recent years. But the reason the Democrats at the national level don't think Texas is winnable is that they're not investing here. The Biden campaign isn't investing here. The DNC is not investing here. It would take $20 to $40 million for them to have a chance to try to flip Texas. They're not making that investment because they know it's not winnable.
Ed Espinoza, do you think the Supreme Court vacancy is going to change any minds of voters?
Well, yeah, I think it's definitely fired people up. I think that a lot of voters are really pissed off at Republicans right now for saying one thing and then doing another. It just really smells of corruption. And, it's something that you're seeing so much happen right now that even your middle-of-the-road voters just really don't trust that Republicans are going to do the right thing because they say one thing and they do another. But look, it's not the only issue on the table because the Supreme Court also deals with things like access to affordable care. We have the lowest uninsured rate in this state. So there's so many other issues that tie into it that I think people are going to consider.
All right. Matt Mackowiak, what about this possible Supreme Court nomination? What effect is that going to have?
It's a net positive for both Trump and Cornyn in Texas. We're a pro-life state. We're a pro-free market state. Our state views the Supreme Court with respect, and they like the 2 judges that President Trump has appointed. And I think they're really going to like the qualified female candidate that he nominates, like Amy Coney Barrett or Barbara Lagoa. So I think it's going to be a positive for the Republicans.
Okay, we got to wrap it up. Some important dates before we go. Last day to register to vote, October 5th. Early voting begins October 13th. Election day, of course, November 3rd. Gentlemen, thank you very much.